Welcome, everyone. My name is Austin. I'm your life and business transformational coach, the founder of Flashpoint, manifesting the moment of your big breakthrough. But today I'm very excited, honored, humbled, and really anticipating what's going to unfold for you today. Misdiagnosis, overcoming cancer, not sure how to turn your health around, being told you may never walk again, being told there's a slim chance you're going to make it. This encompasses some of the amazing people that you're going to hear from today. So before I get into this health summit today, I want to share something with you real quick because this is why we're here and this is what this is all about. This summit is to celebrate the book that we're going to be launching called Your Health Turnaround Story. I want you to settle in for this. We are going to have well over 100 years of experience, not just traditional, but some people who have actually gone in and went deeper than the surface level stuff, beyond the diagnosis, beyond the statistics, to create incredible stories that have not only changed their lives, are changing the lives of every person they touch. And we have them here for you today. And we're going to be highlighting them in this incredible book. And I am simply honored to hold space today. So what I want you to do is settle in for this. Get a notepad if you can, but however you can, I want you to settle in for this health summit. We're going to be running over the next couple hours, and we are going to hit these incredible stories, the insights that they learned. How did they turn their health around when they were told there was no chance? How did that happen? We're going to get into those stories right now, and I know you're going to love it. What I want to do right now, before we get further into it, I want to bring on my co-host and our spokesperson for Flashpoint, Miss Mandy Robbins. She's going to help me today stay on track, make sure we extract every drop. It's like wringing that rag to get every single bit of wisdom and insight that we can fit into this show so that it can serve you. Because I trust, and I know, having done this, someone's going to hear a story. Someone's going to get an insight. Someone's going to be opened up. Someone's going to get a new distinction, and it's absolutely going to transform their journey, whether you're looking to just improve your vitality, your fitness, or perhaps you are facing a major health situation. We have you covered. You are going to get something from this today. So let me just get a quick check. Mandy, are you ready to join me? Mandy, welcome.
Good afternoon, Austin. Great to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad that you're going to be joining me today.
Thank you. It's exciting.
It's exciting. You're going to help us hold space. Before we we're going to be bringing on Daphne in a moment, because I want to highlight Daphne as being a major part of this project. Without her, we couldn't do this. And then I'm going to bring on Dr. Grant, because without Dr. Grant, I wouldn't be here either. That's the truth, right? We don't realize the influence that other people have on us. Now, Mandy, I want to ask you just to share a little bit, because you were part of the last project, and now you're actually kind of taking a front row seat and help hosting this project. What do you have to say, having been a part of the last project, and now you're sitting on the precipice of unfolding this one?
Great word. Sitting on the precipice of unfolding this health turnaround story is absolutely phenomenal for me, because I can relate to so much of the stories, or with the people and their stories that we're about to hear about. So going back for me, being in the first book, Flashpoint, Your Turnaround Story, that was an evolutionary transformation in my life. As you know, and as some of the viewers have come to know, I found you in a Grand Canyon. We got chatting. I followed your journey. And before I knew it, you were asking me to be in your book. And I've been a writer and a poet for many, many years, but never got into the actual book writing. Had one on the go, but it's just sat there in the background of my art world, shall we say. And you coerced that out of me, which was absolutely incredible. And the trajectory of my life changed from that moment because I got to interact with other people sharing similar stories, hardships, surviving different scenarios that you as a human being you would think you would never be in and you would never be able to survive, myself included, facing death many times, and being here today to speak to it all. So working with you in a book co-authorship is absolutely phenomenal because you do incite us to bring out the best in who we are and the stories we have to share, and you're very easy to work with. So I can't recommend you enough for all future projects.
Well,
In this one, it's going to be great.
I appreciate that. And, and it's been an incredible journey. And the reason why I believe that happened, just because I had to battle through so much myself, dealing with lack of worth, and now being able to host this for these incredible people. I honor this space, and I want you to honor this space too, because each person you're going to hear from has an incredible journey. We're going to get beyond the tip of the iceberg. I trust we will, but really, this is sacred space, and I know you being here is sacred space, because there's going to be an exchange, even though you're not in the summit. You might be in the chat. You're going to share something. I really want to incite you to share, or encourage you to share, because this is that time of year where health is really important. So, commit to your own health turnaround story, or your own getting into a better space with your own health and wellness. All right.
Before you go, can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Recently learned a new Japanese phrase, and I think it embodies what this is all about here today. You'll recognize a part of it anyway. The Japanese phrase is ichigo ichiya. Ichigo ichiya. And that means that you are in a sacred space and you are welcoming everybody into it, or a particular person, and you are wishing them transformational blessings. That is the composition of ichigo ichiya.
I love it. I'm going to use the light bulb here today as a symbol of something that's insightful as it comes up. So we'll use the Thomas Edison light bulb here. We use this in the show. So that's a beautiful share. So you're welcome here today. Let me just say hello to TJ on here. I want to say hello to Daniela. I want to say hello to Jose. Absolutely glad to have you here, Jose, and excited about what you're working on as well. All right, let's now we're going to move on. I want to bring on Daphne Taylor Street here, and just want to get a thumbs up. Daphne, are you ready to join us? She's ready. So Daphne, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We're going to be hearing from you in a moment, and I want to bring on Dr. Grant. Dr. Grant, are you ready to join us? Looks like he's ready. So Dr. Grant is ready to join us. So here we are. This is a great, I just want to highlight these two people. We're going to be hearing from them, because without Daphne, this wouldn't happen. Without Dr. Grant, I wouldn't be doing a book on health turnaround, although it's been a huge part of my life. But it was something that I just kind of built in the background. And then having met Dr. Grant and learning, getting his insights, changing my health journey, because people look at people and they think they're just healthy, but we all can grow and learn and improve our health no matter what level we are. So first, Daphne, I just want to turn it over to you, because you are the publisher. I call you the creative genius behind this, because you're the one that really does a lot of the work that we don't want to do, a lot of the logistics, but it's also the creative work, putting this together, extracting people's stories. I've had some of the authors say, wow, after I talked with Daphne, it really pulled some things out of me that I didn't know were there. And that's really what your gift is. But I just wanted to have you speak on this particular project. And obviously I want to, if you want to share a little bit about what you do, because I'm sharing little dribs and drabs of it, but just this project in specific, and as it's unfolded and we're getting ready to release the book in the next couple of weeks, I just want to hear what you have to say about it so far.
Absolutely. So what you all will experience today are parts of these stories. You'll have to get the book to read all of the story, but you'll notice some similarities. Of course, you'll notice differences. But one thing we all have in common is this weird, miraculous thing called a human body. And when it's functioning properly, it's amazing, right? You can run and swim, and you have massive energy, and you're creative, and you can do things that you wouldn't even dream you'd be able to do. But when it starts not functioning properly, everything can crash and your quality of life just goes absolutely down to rock bottom. And then you're wondering, what do I do next? And so many of us, if we're lucky enough to have access to a personal physician, we'll go to our doctor. Lots of people don't. And so they end up in emergency rooms or clinics trying to find an answer to why my body isn't functioning right, what went wrong. And oftentimes we'll be given pills and maybe some lifestyle change recommendations, but it doesn't always feel like we have the answer. We were given a pill, we were given some things to maybe try, not maybe even a clear diagnosis. And if we were, it still seems like it's impenetrable, like it's something we can't ever overcome. Well, when you read these stories of these individuals and what they overcame, it went beyond all that. And what they needed to heal was multidimensional. It wasn't just a pill. It wasn't just a one lifestyle change. It started with what was in their own head, what they allowed to surround them. And then also, what were they doing health-wise with their bodies in a holistic view, not just the one thing. And when your body is breaking down and you're not able to function, and to find that this type of scenario, time and time again, is what gave people their health turnaround. It gave them their breakthrough. And that's what these stories are all about. And that's what's inside these pages. And it's a miraculous journey for each individual. And it is for all of us who are trying to overcome something when it's just not working right anymore. What do we do? And some of the answers are in these pages.
Beautiful. What a way with words. That's really beautiful. Thank you for that, Daphne. I want you to stay with us here. I'm going to go over to Dr. Grant because Dr. Grant's been at this a long time, well over 35 years. He's been in all different spaces with people and just continues to pour out he works passionately. We don't work hard, right? We work passionately and just embodies this. And Dr. Grant, what do you have to say about this project and the work that you're doing today and these authors, these incredible authors that we're going to be hearing from soon?
Today is a very special day. It's 22/02/22. This is the day of the turning point, flashpoint, turning around your story right here, starting today. 22/02/22. How many times are you going to have this date? Okay, it's interesting. So I'm so grateful to get to know Austin. I get to know Daphne and Mandy. They are just like really my inspiration. They inspire me to do everything that I do every single day. And as Austin said, I'm passionate what I do. I do what I love, and I love what I do. And in April, this coming April, just 2 months, I'll turn to be 72 years young. That's my chronological age. But my biological age is about 52 because my biomarkers showing that I feel 20 years younger based on biological markers, even though my health turnaround is very simple. At age 18, I was orphaned. My mom passed away from heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure. Doctors could not do anything with her for bypass stents and medications. As Daphne was saying, it did not work. So I found out at age 18 that it's got to be something else beside medications, operation, radiation, that would have saved my mother, and later also my father did the same thing. My health turnaround is listed on the academyofwellness.com. I'm not going to bother you, tell you that from being orphaned at age 18, desperate, to what I've accomplished in the past 40 plus years. It's just like phenomenal. That's my health turnaround. That's why I'm honored to work on this project with Austin, Daphne, and Mandy, and all of the other gifted co-authors. Some of them actually are my students. I'm so happy and so grateful that some of my students here, including Dr. Phil, it's not Dr. Phil from the TV, Dr. Phil from Wendy's in Indiana, but he is more famous than Dr. Phil in his hometown because he's a very accomplished doctor. Anyway, you're going to hear from Dr. Phil. You're going to hear from all of my other co-authors. You're going to hear some of the people that I helped who had desperate situations. In fact, some of them were dying in 1998 from clogged arteries, 99%, taking 28 meds, 2 bypass surgeries, and 2 stents, and they were sent to hospice in 1998 in one of the hospital here in Toronto called Sunnybrook. And one of my co-authors that I've written a book with said, "Can you do anything with this guy?" I said, "What can I do?" They tried 28 meds, 2 bypass, 2 stents. What else? I'm not a magician. He said, "Just go and talk about his lifestyle because I think he's eating very bad food." Guess what I found? He was eating bacon and eggs. He was drinking diet soda. He was eating everything wrong in the food and the drink in the Wellness IQ at the Academy of Wellness.com. He's just doing the opposite. In fact, his Wellness IQ score, Austin, was 12 out of 100. So he's walking dead. And he was sent to hospice to die. This is 1998. I changed his lifestyle, changed all of his diet habit, as Daphne was saying, as Mandy was saying. This 1999, no meds, no bypass, 50% less clogging. Guess what? He's alive today at 101. So when I talk about living till 101, it's not just one client that I've seen. I have 25,000 clients. This is just one case. So I'm telling you, this turning around your life is so critical in 22. Let's get started and let's have some fun. Let's all live till age, forget about 101. I have many people live till 101. Let's do 111. That's one of the books that I actually written with Austin in one of the other books that I've written with him before. How to live healthy to 111. And all of us, we're going to do that. So this is not the last book we're going to be writing. We're going to be writing another 111 books.
There's a lot of books that are going to come from this project that are going to change.
Yes. So we're going to keep Daphne busy. Want to keep Mandy busy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Now, this is beautiful. We're excited to bring this summit to you today. I hope you're getting a feel of this. You're going to be hearing more from Dr. Grant. We're going to hear from Daphne at the end of this, so we're going to do a nice recap for you. So what I want to do now is I want to transition, if I can. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to bring on some of the co-authors here. You're going to hear from them. So what I'm going to do, Dr. Grant and Daphne, I'm going to transition you out of the room for now.
Okay.
And then I'll be bringing you back in. So please, be aware, because anything can happen. But we're gonna get these authors on right now. So here we go. So let's do that. Thank you, Dr. Grant. Look forward to seeing you in a little bit. So Mandy, we're gonna roll on.
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna start at the top here. I'm gonna bring on Mr. Joe Tewell here in a moment. He's got an incredible story of overcoming addiction. I'm going to bring on Dr. Phil Harris, a story that stemmed from the birth of his daughter. We got Amy over here, who is going to be joining us, had a battle with depression and lots of other things that we're going to be hearing from her. So let me start right now. Mr. Joe Tewell, are you ready to come and join us? And by the way, I want you to give me a thumbs up because I can't hear you. There we go.
Ready.
Hello, Joe. Glad to have you here.
Great to be here. Hello, Austin. Hello, Mandy.
Very excited to see you, my friend.
Good to have you. I think I'm going to have Gregory Hall join us too, because he's outside. He's capturing in that fresh air. Gregory, are you ready to join us? All right, there we go. We got Gregory Hall out of Canada joining us.
Hi, Greg.
Let's see.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Ready to join us.
I'm inside, you're out. Tough luck.
All right, Mama Mo, you on? There we go. We got Mama Mo.
Hi, Money.
We got Dr. Grant's brother is in the green room. Well, this is an inside joke. Mr. Jim Grant, are you ready? All right, we're doing good so far. How are we doing? How you feeling, everyone? Good?
Great.
Great. Let's see if we can fit some more. Let's see if we can fit Amy in here. Amy, are you ready? Thumbs up. Oh, look at this. We might be able to just do everybody. All right. Dr. Phil Harris, are you able to join us, sir? Okay. So I'm going to keep this rolling. We're going to keep moving here. So what we're going to do right now, I want the world to know about you. And as we transition, it's important to know we're streaming on multiple platforms, Apple TV, Amazon, Roku. We're up on YouTube. We're on Facebook. Feel free to share this with somebody who needs a boost in their health turnaround story, as you heard. So let's transition into this next segment. We may have to move some people in and out depending on how we move here. But let's hear from you. I'm going to go down the line, and I want to hear let the world know about you, who you are and what you do. That's what we want to do right now in this segment. And we want to know your hidden talent. What is your hidden talent? Surprise. We're going to have some fun with this as well as we get this message out. So I'm going to start with Mr. Joe T-Well, since he's right there.
It's good to be here, Austin. I am Joe T-Well, and I am a 33-year veteran in the health and wellness field. But I consider myself a health coach / life coach, and I use the gymnasium as my clinic.
Love that.
Yeah.
The gymnasium is your clinic. Okay.
Surgery room. It's where I perform my work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to hear more about that. You got an incredible, actually, it's interesting to note there's a football game on, right? Today, a little football game.
Absolutely.
So you're the former trainer for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep. I was on the Chiefs staff for 4 years. Yep.
Yep. And today is a big game. So we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So, all right. Now, so Mandy, I'm going to turn it over to you. I want you to get the hidden talent out here. So make sure we grab that.
Absolutely. So this is the exciting part. We get to learn the behind the scenes good stuff, the gold nugget. So Joe, give us something extra unique and special that you do in your life. What are you going to
It's really, that caught me off guard, Mandy, but the first thing that came to
That's what we do.
To my mind, yes, you guys do. Austin does that. And you know what? I have an amazing connection to dogs. For some reason, I become like the person for most dogs when I meet them. Whether it's a friend's dog or people passing by that all happen to run out to see their dog, to pet their dog, and there's like this bond where this dog searches me out. It's just weird how that's happened over the years.
It's the cookie keeping you.
So maybe you're the dog whisperer and you don't know it yet. So
Could be, Austin.
I love it. I can see that. That's really good. Okay, well, we're going to move along here. Mandy, I want you to jump in, and I'm going to turn it over to you because I want you to. You have a way of extracting things. So is that okay if I turn it over to you as we go around?
Absolutely. Okay. So you want me to go now?
Yes, please.
So let's go to Amy. All these warm faces and beautiful people. Let's go to Amy. Amy, so first of all, what exactly do you do? What is important in your life that you do?
So my mission is to empower, encourage, and equip moms to prosper in every area of their life. And they do this by empowering them to prosper spirit, soul, and body. And that is, so I had to say my hidden talent actually goes with that, because I can't tell you how many times people are with me and we get into a conversation and they'll start maybe weeping, or tears will start falling down, and they'll say, people start to get embarrassed, which I hate that, because I tell them that's awesome. I'm glad you're feeling. And so I've had so many people say that, like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but they feel safe with me and they're able. I mean, my favorite thing to tell people is you have to feel in order to heal. And so I spent my life trying not to feel and escaping it and doing lots of things that weren't healthy for me. So, and I sum it up real quick with like dealing with abandonment and anger and anxiety, alcohol, which got me really physically sick. Daphne talked about how our physical bodies are, so tied to, that's like the result of all the ways I lived, trying to control everything and control people. And so I ended up really, really sick because I wanted the approval of all people. Yeah. And when you do that, you're not really true to who you are if you're trying to worry about making other people happy and doing what they think I should do. So,
yeah,
I think I saw a quote on that recently. There it is. Kurt Cobain. He said something along the same lines. Wanting to be someone else is a waste of the person you are. So being true to yourself. Kudos to you, Amy. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
We're carrying on. Okay. Great.
yeah, the hidden talent is, let's just capture this, is that people open up to you, right? They share with you. So that's really beautiful. Absolutely. And I just want to share this. Michelle is really honoring you. You are a beautiful soul. I just want to highlight this as we can.
Thank you.
Yep. And then you have to feel in order to heal. That's really important. That's worth it for somebody who joined me today. That one quote. So we're going to keep rolling. And by the way, I am going to bring Dr. Grant on here, and eventually we're going to get Dr. Phil on. He's in the green room, but he's got we got some connection stuff. So Mandy, back to you.
Gregory, how are you, my brother?
Good afternoon.
I'm just down the road from you, literally, and I'm in the house while you're out in the snow. I've been watching a big husky play out here in the snow, and you're just reminding me of it. So glad to see you here today. So happy to see you. I wish I could give you a hug.
Yeah, good to see all of you.
What is it you do in your life? What do you do for work? What do you do?
I am a coach. I started off as a driver coach, and now I'm transitioning to a natural health coach. I'm just recently certified by the World Organization of Natural Medicine through the Canadian College of Humanitarian Medicine to be a natural health coach. And I just want to take my my knowledge and my new certification to everybody in the world.
And that's awesome. You're already doing that. We've heard from your story. So what is it specifically other than the natural health approach? Is it just one specific area, or is it multiple areas in the health system?
Well, I don't deal with one specific area. I deal with everything. Everything is intertwined, and we as a society have to empower each other to get the knowledge. You know, knowing is half the battle, but if you don't know, how are you supposed to get to the end goal? You know.
Exactly, and that's a beautiful theme that's happening right now. It's a composite body of mind, body, and spirit healing. So thank you for that. Appreciate that. So what is the unique thing? Something very unique about you. It can be funny. It can be inspirational. Tell us something that's going to get us going here.
Well, I mean, in my culture, you know, us black people are not known to be good into water sports and go fishing, and I do all those things. I go fishing, and I got a jet ski. I go as fast as I can on my jet ski out on Lake Ontario. I mean, you gotta blow off the stress somehow.
Yeah.
My legs are my jet ski on the ice right now.
Yes, I agree. I want to just share this. I love the fact that you're outside. People think it's cold, but everything has value. And being outside is really good if you can just get out there for a little bit. So you're doing that now. So great. So great to have you, Gregory. And your story, I'm eager for people to hear your story. And you're one of Dr. Grant's students. This is going to be amazing when people hear your story.
Yeah, Dr. Grant is he's my thesis supervisor too. So when I get my PhD, hopefully I'll be back on to.
Yes. Amen to that. Yeah, we're going to be bringing Dr. Grant back on here in a moment.
Yes.
So Mandy, let's keep rolling.
Let's keep rolling. Okay. So Mama Mo, Monique, my friend, namaste.
So hello, my beautiful friend. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. I get to share this space with all of you incredible people. So it's just an incredible day. How are you?
I'm absolutely awesome. Thank you for asking. And I'm just looking at all the faces on this screen right now. Everyone is smiling, and so it makes you feel like the sun is shining through all of us. So I want to honor each and every one of you. So just getting back to what you do, Monique. What do you do for your work, for your employment?
Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Monique, but I am called Mama Mo for many, many reasons. I am a canine nutritionist to the stars, mother to Brandy the pit bull from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But the thing that I'm really, really passionate about is plant medicine and holistic healing. And that is where my journey started 10 years ago. And why I am here is my own cancer journey. And so I turned my pain into my passion. And I'm building a coaching program for women who have dealt with estrogen dependent cancers. And that is really where my passion is, to help them heal holistically through plant medicine. I have a CBD company. I am making spygerics. I make plant medicine. And so I really want to teach women that there's other options, women who are frustrated and overwhelmed and are coming out of a treatment or, a diagnosis and just feel lost and don't know what to do or where to go. And there's so much information out there. And so my passion is to help guide them, each one individually, because each one of our journeys is different. And so I want to guide them down a path to find what is best for them, mind, body, and spirit, holistically, and help them, because it's more than just a healing from a disease. It's about healing within. It's about finding the traumas in your life and the root core issues that are coming out in disease. And that's where my passion is.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I love that you turned your pain into your passion. As you go into these programs with individual women, you're helping them to turn their pain into their passion, to get healthy naturally and transform their lives into whatever it is they need to do to feel healthy, well, and progressive. So that is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now, what we want to know, other than the dog for the stars, what is something that is super special about you? Something unique. I mean, you're totally unique in every way. I can only imagine, but something special. What would you give us?
My love language is food. I love to cook. I'm a food junkie, so I love to eat, but my love language is food. I absolutely love to cook. I love to travel, and I love to take different pieces from different countries and different parts of the world and make incredible food for people. That's my secret talent.
And can you imagine being at your dinner table with all those culinary gifts to share with people? You would, even if you walked in with some horrific disease, you would walk out feeling almost happy, I'm sure.
It's the one thing my kids, I know that my kids will never go far. Like last night they were here, they're older, they're in their 20s, and so they recently left the house and they come over to eat. They just want food. So it's that talent. I keep sucking everybody back in with my food.
That's funny. What happened with my kids, even at university, they wanted the home cooking to be sent. Thank you so much for sharing that. What a blessing we have with all these people here today, these friends. So shall we move on, Austin, to there's something behind that, right, Jim Cross?
Yes, there is. No, we're doing great. And I just want to say to everyone who's joining us, we want you to get something here today. You're going to hear these amazing stories as we unfold. Make sure you get some water, because we want to practice what we preach. Just make sure you're sipping your water. Because we're going to be on here for an hour and a half. Take a deep breath, right? And that's for the authors. It's for everybody listening. We want to practice what we preach. We want to live it. So yes, Mandy, let's keep going forward. Absolutely.
I thought that was really funny. Almost all of us took our cups for water.
Absolutely.
Going to be the cue. Jim Grant. Okay, so before we get to the unique point, I'm already laughing here because of the last time. What do you do for your job? What do you bring to the world as far as your living goes?
First of all, I'd like to say something about dogs, because I tell people all the time, can you imagine what a wonderful world this world would be if everyone had the heart of a dog?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that, the unconditional love. Who doesn't want that,
Mm-hmm.
But on my TV shows and my radio shows, I talk about inspirational messages as far as helping people overlook and get over the doom and the gloom that we see out there, because people are anemic for that, and people are tired of that. And in 2022, we started out a program on create a revolution for 2022 rather than start a resolution, because resolutions are no good. They never work for me and don't work for most people. But sharing messages of inspirational stories around the world. I'm on E360 TV like Austin is here. It's a wonderful privilege to be there. It's an honor to have that. And people ask me, how did it happen? I backed into it and fell into it. I wasn't smart enough to figure this out on my own. And then, my real passion in life is to help people in their hour of need. And I'm a guy that I say now, I joke about it because, listen up, I joke about this. I laugh about this. I had a heart attack at midnight on Halloween in 2021, just a couple of months ago, a few months ago. Yes. And I had to have open heart surgery on Monday, November the 1st, with 4 bypasses. And I says, I can have a heart attack at midnight on Halloween that doesn't scare me. And my passion in life is to help people to understand, no matter what you face in life, living in fear, you enslave yourself. And I'm taking a message to the world now, Austin and Mandy and everyone else, that I fell into a trap. My blood pressure was always good. My cholesterol levels were always good. That was my safety net. I thought, hey, if my cholesterol levels are good, my bad cholesterol was at 76, I'm 73 years of age, my heart's got to be good, right? But when I fell that night with a heart attack and landed in the hospital, the ER, with a blood pressure of 190 over 111, I found out the hard way that my safety net had a hole in it. And that is no fun. Yeah. So that is the why I take information to the people to let them know there is an answer. Because in the hospital, I asked them, what could I have taken? What kind of test could you give me that would tell me that I had the widowmaker in my heart that I did not know I had? And they had no answer for me. But we have an answer working with Dr. George Grant. Because that little AO scanner he did on me, it red flagged my heart. And this is how smart I am. I'm thinking, well, I've done some changes here and I'm taking some good vitamins and everything's good to go. But that has a way of coming back and snake biting you. It snake bit me a big time.
Yeah.
But the main thing of it is do not live in fear.
Yeah.
Fear is a self and a soul destroyer. It robs you of everything.
Yes. Yes. And it's a process in the mind, right? But we get
yes, ma'am.
Things. But I love that in your last name is Grant. We've got Dr.
I backed into that one too.
But I think that's a great analogy because we as humans on this show, even today, we are granted, no pun intended, we are granted the privilege of hearing and knowing your stories so that not only can we benefit, but even as I like to say, when I step out on stage, even in front of 5,000 people, God grant me the ability to make a difference in the life of just one person. And if he's done that, he's granted me his blessing. And you are a living, walking, breathing testament to that, as much as you are on here, if not all. And I absolutely honor you for that. So you are most welcome. Now can we get to something so special and unique about you?
Oh my goodness.
I know you've got.
I'm too dumb to quit at anything. I spent a total of 31 years in the United States Army. I'm retired Master Sergeant. 3 years were active duty. I spent 69 and 70 in Vietnam. So I tell people I survived Vietnam. I survived Agent Orange. And no matter what comes down the pathway of life, I try to keep my sunny side up. I look at the bright things in life. When I went in to get back into my heart thing, if I may say that, I went in for the procedure to have the stents put in. And then the cardiologist is looking at everything after they put the dye in. He says, oh, this will not work for you. He says, you need open heart surgery. You're going to need at least 4 bypasses, and you need it now. We can't turn you loose. You're a walking time bomb. And immediately I just says, well, it's in your hands, Lord. If it goes well, I go home. If it doesn't go well, I go home. And my point in sharing that story, immediately, there was a peace and a calmness that came over me I've never felt before. And
Goosebumps.
instantaneously, I knew that the surgery would go well and my recovery would go well. And that's exactly what happened.
So, Jim, your
Yes.
story, I want your story is absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
And I want to get deeper into it. And we're going to do that in the second round.
Sure.
But we also want to know, what's your hidden talent? What do you
Mm.
like to, you like to do the waltz? Do you
Oh,
like
yeah. I like to walk. I like to play golf. And I play golf in the low 70s. I tell people if it gets any hotter than that, I just stay home, you know. But realistically, truthfully, I tell people I consider I've had a great day on the golf course if I can play all 18 holes with the same ball.
There you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's not that I'm cheap. It's just I hate losing balls, you know?
Yeah. No, this is great, Mandy. Great. And Jim, we're eager to get deeper into your story
Sure,
too.
go
So I
ahead.
want people to hang on there because your story is amazing and how Dr. Grant was involved with that. He's your brother. So, Mandy, I'm going to transition since we covered everybody. We have Dr. Phil in the waiting room. Dr. Phil, just give me a thumbs up if you can join us.
What a blessing having you all here. I'm so enjoying this.
Dr. Grant, are you ready to rejoin us? Okay. Can we fit? Look at this. Wow. Power of technology when it works. This is beautiful. So Mandy, let's hit Dr. Phil while we can. And then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Grant to just have him reflect on this opening so far.
Okay, so we've got Dr. Phil here. Welcome, Dr. Phil. Namaste. It's good to see you again. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you.
Awesome. So we're talking about what you do for your work. What inspires you to make a difference in your life? What do you do?
Well, of course, I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana. I am a director of metabolics at a very successful clinic here. We see about 1,100 patients a week, and our goal this year is 1,500. We're having quite an influence. How that all got started with me was back in about 1985, 87. I was in Bible school at the time, and I was in a car accident that was fairly serious, and that transitioned me to a chiropractor that got me in touch with a naturopath. And that began to change my perspective of how the human body works on the heels of helping my daughter. She was born having taken a breath while still in the womb. She had a stool while she was in the womb. She was under great stress. She had meconium poisoning. They pumped antibiotics in her through her navel. They said she didn't look that great. She did recover from all this, but it had a series of infection problems with bacteria and ear infections, eye infections. At the time, the doctors were treating her in traditional ways, more antibiotics, cortisone creams. But thankfully, one of my first mentors, Dr. Joel Robbins, who is a naturopath and a chiropractor, he's also a medical doctor, although he doesn't operate under that title. He said, this is an internal problem, not an external problem. And that began to help me understand that the body was simply trying to get rid of this toxicity. And as we began to do some house cleaning, so to speak, with the body through raw juices and some enemas and some supplementation, the situation got worse before it got better, but it wasn't long until we had what we call a healing crisis. And she began to turn the corner and got rid of all of these problems. And so I began to realize that the innate intelligence of the body is really the doctor here, and we have to get out of its way. Most of our lifestyles stay in its way. We live in a way that we block the body's innate intelligence. And I can't tell you how critical it is that we learn this lesson. I tell people that your body is not impressed by where your doctor went to school. You have to remember that the body is smarter than any doctor, and we'll never be as smart as the body. We're lucky to even get close, but if we can understand how it operates, that it has no idea how to be sick, it only knows how to get well, and we get out of its way by removing toxins, poisons, and ridiculous lifestyle, sedentary, soda drinking, candy eating, whatever else we do to destroy ourselves, bad attitudes, we can see the body heal, and the body doesn't waste any time doing it. And so this has helped me to focus my life on teaching people these principles. That's what we do, is principle-based wellness. Principles are first laws. They're not going to change. We better get in agreement with them, because if we don't, we're going to pay the price. And I want to finish by saying that I tell people, fall in love with health and wellness, or sickness and disease is going to fall in love with you.
Very true. Very
What a
true.
great axiom.
And you know, sometimes when I'm talking about health with people, I use the illustration of when we cut ourselves, right? We get a nick on our finger and it starts to bleed. There's 80 antithrombin factors that rush to the site to seal the wound, just so that the body can replace the skin cells and everything underneath. So once the bleeding has stopped, the body can repair itself. And just from my own experience, I'm minus most of those. So I go into hemorrhaging if it's not contained. But the magic of the body to heal itself just in a little cut, right? And so you refer to the internal structure, internal medicine, and working around that, because it's from the inside out, and it's not just the body, it's the mind as well. Everything is from the inside out. Absolutely incredible. Again, an honorable service here that you're doing for the human race. Beautiful to have you here. So let's find out something really unique about you, some hidden talent that you may have, or something you like to do that's just out of the ordinary, perhaps. Can you give us something?
Well, I do go a number of different directions, but probably that I've been a professional musician all my life, pretty much since I was about 18. Most people don't know this, but my daughter went on to have an international recording career. She was on tour with the Backstreet Boys on for a song that sold 500,000 copies, called Supergirl. Many people did. It was in the Princess Diaries movie, the first one. And she continues to do music, although she didn't like Hollywood very well. But yeah, I still am involved in music. I hope to do more of that. I'm a songwriter, but that's probably something unique about me that most people didn't know.
That's beautiful. No, I don't remember that either, but that she recovered from almost dying at birth and then becoming this incredible musician, touring with the Backstreet Boys. That's a health turnaround in of itself, right?
Yeah.
That is amazing. Austin, you got anything on that?
No, I'm just glad that Dr. Phil's able to join us. And I know we have a little bit of a delay, but it came across beautifully. So I'm excited about that. And we're going to get more into these stories, Mandy. But first, I want to hear from Dr. Grant, because he was in the green room there, listening to everybody's story. And I'm glad that Jim was able to join us. But Dr. Grant, what are you thinking, feeling so far as we're kicking off this summit in a great way so far?
I am feeling very inspired, Austin, with all of those wonderful stories, especially Jim Grant's story on Halloween when he came from the basically open heart surgery to now. Look how young and healthy he is. Look how young. And I'm going to only take 25% of her credit on this because 75% goes back to him. He did follow my advice reluctantly by drinking 10 glasses of water per day and doing the belly breathing and watching all of the signs that I told him before. Even though he did not listen to me, now he listens to every word I'm saying. He drinks his water. He does everything I'm doing. He's listening. My brother is listening to me right now. And I predict in today's date, 22/02/22, that Jim will live till age 111 and beyond after this open heart surgery. I can predict that. And he's only 1 year older than me. I predict that. And I'm just going to basically tell Jim that keep up the good work. Great work. I'm so proud of you. Very inspiring to listen to the story of Gregory Hall, Dr. Phil, Joe, the beautiful Monique, Mama Mo, and the beautiful Amy. And you know what? It's just like beautiful stories. This is what I'm all about, helping people to have turnaround. I showed you in the beginning of the interview about this guy here was 79 years young. He had the Widowmaker, just like what Jim did, 2 bypass surgery, 2 stents, 28 meds. By the way, if you give 28 meds to a guinea pig, they will not live beyond 1 week. He just tried. Try to give 28 any meds. It doesn't matter which one he was taking, because there's complication. There's toxicology and pharmacology here playing around. He was desperate. He was just like, By the way, when I told him to change his diet from eating bacon and all of the sausages and stop drinking diet soda, he said, what else I can drink? I said, drink water. He said, I hate water. I don't like water. I said, sir, if you do not listen to me, you're going to be dead, as they told you in hospice, in 2 months. So he said, okay, I'll drink your stupid water. I'm going to eat your stupid porridge. I'm going to eat your stupid vegetables. And he did. This is 79 years. And now he is actually no meds, no bypass. This is back 1980. And then he is still alive today at 101. That's why I can predict the gym will live till beyond 111. So if you do what I'm telling you guys, like this guy here came to me with diabetes, blood pressure. Can you see this? Diabetes, blood pressure.
Yes.
And he was eating garbage. He was eating crap, C-R-A-P, carbonated beverage, refined food, artificial colors and flavors, and processed meat. You know what? I told him, sir, do you wear a bra? He said, doc, why are you insulting me? I said, sir, because you have lots of big boobs here. I was just wondering. You know what he told me? I'm going to lose the weight not to ever tell me that I need a bra anymore. And he did. And he did. Within a year and a half, he did. He does not actually wear a bra right now. He's just, he's very healthy. So coming from very bad genetics, bad genes from my parents and grandparents who died from heart disease, blood pressure, and diabetes, I committed my life since I was 18 to study integrative medicine, IM, functional medicine, FM, and lifestyle medicine, LM. In fact, next week, I'm going to be teaching a course on that topic, as Gregory was saying, with the WONM and the CHNM, and another batch of students. Greg was taking the first batch with me before, and I'm so proud of Greg because he's taking now his PhD courses with me, and he's going to be doing a great job. So next week, I'm going to be, actually, Mandy has the link, and I have the link on my website. Austin has the link on my website, on my Facebook, and also on my academyofwellness.com. If you're a nutritionist in this field, if you are young and healthy and beautiful like Mama Mo and Amy and all of these people here, like Brother Jim, I would encourage you to take this course because this will be amazing thing as an author and a co-author in this turnaround life story. I'm telling you, this is going to be, you're going to just not get me only, you get another 11 professors who's going to be teaching you about IM, FM, LM, and EM, eclectic medicine. So that is basically my mission in life, to help people to live, learn, laugh, let go, and leave a legacy.
Beautiful.
Live, learn, let go, and live
This
the
is
legacy.
perfect. This is perfect. Thank you. That's awesome. So this is a perfect transition because now at this stage, Andy.
One thing, Austin, Dr. Grant, do you jet ski? Do you handle a snake? Do you climb trees? Give us something unique.
I'm not sure whether you know this, Mandy. I was competitive soccer player, volleyball player, and table tennis player, ping pong, and a chess champion. I won national, international competition. So if any of you want to play with me virtually chess, be prepared to lose within 15 minutes. Okay, so don't even try.
You're looking at tennis champion.
Beautiful.
So much. Okay, Austin.
Yes, we're good. No, this is great. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go a little deeper into these stories. We're keeping time. We're closing in on one. So what we're going to do now, and maybe like a couple minutes each person, we want to hear what happened, because what you're here for a reason. Something happened. Dr. Phil talked about it a little bit. Dr. Grant talked, or Jim Grant talked about his situation. Dr. Grant talked about his. So I want to hit Joe T-Well, Gregory, Mama Mo, and Amy. I want to hear what happened. You know, what was that early diagnosis, that news, that tragedy? What happened? I want people to hear, because this is where somebody could find themselves. So Mandy, I would love for you to, if you want to start with Joe again.
With Joe. Okay. Yeah. So as we all know, you beautiful people are here to share your health turnaround stories. So what we'd like to know is, how did it start? Where did it start? You perhaps didn't just wake up one day and say, okay, you know, my arm hurts, I'm going to do this, that, or the other. Where did it all begin, and how were you able to turn it around? Joe.
Well, man, this panel is unbelievable.
Can't hear you, Joe.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Well, the panel that you have assembled is phenomenal. Very inspirational. I can't wait to know more about Dr. Grant's educational system. But it's our health doesn't just happen, like you were saying, Mandy. It doesn't just we wake up one day and we've got poor health, we've got heart attack, we've got stroke, and this is a collection of things that we do physiologically, from our nutrition to our hydration to our breathing. But I want to tell you that most of this, guys, we live in a culture that we have more resources than any other industrialized nation, but yet we're more sedentary, more dependent upon medications, less active, poor diet, and yet we have all of these resources. So what I now know in my practice, I no longer ask people what they're eating, but what I ask them is what's eating them, because that is what drives their habits, and their mindset is what controls their physiology. And I know that a person's environment is the number one thing that has an impact in how they live and who they are. And your environment isn't just the room you're in. The environment is your heart and your brain and your emotion and your humanitarianism. All of those things are your environment. And what I grew up in was a storm. I grew up in an environment that there was love, but it was highly dysfunctional. And the people that my parents, the people that I needed to feel that core love, didn't love themselves, but they thought love was just trying to give me the basics in life. So in my life, I grew up in an environment that was full of addiction and dysfunction and violence and things that a young boy should never be exposed to. But like many clients that I train today, they become their environment. And so I became a part of my environment, utilizing barbiturates and alcohol and doing things that validated who I thought I was supposed to be. Yeah. And it brought me to a crashing point where my body, at the age of literally 14, I overdosed, and there was a moment of clarity. And for the first time in my life, I called out to God that, Lord, if you just give me today, I'll do better. And I lived through that moment, and that's the first time I ever called out to God. But I knew that he was giving me a second chance, and I knew that that was a physical marker that was telling me you're made for better.
Yes. It's incredible how the creator that made us, that made our bodies to heal and look after themselves, is the one person that we can always turn to when we hit rock bottom and we need that anchor to hold on to. We find ourselves looking up, and he's right there. He's always there. He's always there. But in that moment, and I've got the goosebumps, we turn to him, and he just takes us in his hand and says, I've got you. You're going to keep going. And you are an incredible example of that, as each and every one is here. So thank you for sharing that with us, Joe. Austin?
No, just Joe, I feel you, man. I'm glad you're here, and your story is going to continue to impact people. And so just really humbled by you, man. Just so glad you're here.
It is humbling. It is humbling, because that's what this is all about, right? It's about inspiring other people that might think, well, I can't do this. I don't have this knowledge, or I don't have that medication, or I don't know who to turn to. But here are beautiful, beautiful, down-to-earth people in every walk of life who've gone through these horrendous situational circumstances and been able to turn their health around to become that inspiration. And I'm just, like Austin, not just humbled, I'm honored, absolutely honored to be here in your presence today. I love you all so much. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. So we'll move on to Greg. Out in the snow there. I'm watching you pace around.
I know. Showing us the trees and nature. I'm like, let me go. I want to go hang out there.
I know it is really beautiful.
You guys are missing on what God gave us. I mean, I woke up this morning and I had life still, and I'm trying to enjoy it the best I can. Um, this
That-
time, this
We'll
time
have to get
last year, I was in a lot of pain, and I was basically immobilized inside, and it was probably the catalyst to me being right here, right now, talking with you folks.
Absolutely. And so let's go a little deeper into that story, right, Mandy? Let's
yes.
go.
Gregory, take us down the start path, just very briefly. How did your turnaround start? Where did it begin?
Yeah, basically, my turnaround started after almost 30 years of being in pain and being shuffled around by almost 30 specialists and medications and wheelchairs for a month and failed relationships and all kinds of stuff. But I decided enough was enough a couple of years ago, and I started to do things more naturally, and my body started to change, but I couldn't get rid of the pain. And I finally met Dr. Grant, and
Yeah.
that was my flashpoint. And basically, he showed me everything that I needed to do to eliminate all of the foolishness and get on track. So now I'm basically taking on the road to help everybody I can.
Wow, Greg just summed it up. He buttoned it up really, really great for us there quickly. That's amazing.
Yes.
Really amazing, Greg.
Stay warm.
We're going to come back to Greg. We're going to come back to Greg. And I just want to point out that we're going to get to your turning point because I want to go deeper. I want to give the
Yeah.
audience, I want to give the listener a chance to hear your pain point. I really do because I know you've evolved and you've grown, but there's somebody in pain right now. So they need to understand where you were. They need to understand what you've gone through. Greg, 30 years of not knowing, 30 years of trying to figure it out, being shuffled around, specialist to specialist, confused, and and then obviously it's affecting every area of his life. And now, having gone through that, meeting Dr. George Grant, he's got a message to help the world heal. So this pain you went through is valuable. So, Mandy, I'm going to turn it back to you, and let's move on to whoever's next.
It's. I just wanted to say it really is valuable because a lot of people, I'd say the majority of people out there today, think there are no other alternatives other than the doctor and the pain pills and whatever they have to offer. We're not recommending that people don't have that. These people, these friends of ours here today are showing us that there is always alternatives. And when we get back to the natural state of the earth that provides those natural alternatives, that's when we can have these great turnarounds. So on that note, let's talk to somebody who's doing just that with all her plant life. Monique.
Hello. Oh, I just absolutely love this because there's a common theme here is that we've all been through these traumatic health turnarounds in our life. And what it really, really boils down to is there's a moment where we realize that it's so much bigger than the disease or the health challenge or whatever the case may be. It really, really boils down to getting to the root core issues of what is creating the disease. And that's exactly what it was for me. I went through major, major traumas for the majority of my life. I got a cancer that only 5% at my age, the age that I got it, and and I did the genetic testing. I went to the doctors. I did all of that. I went to the therapy. I went to the psychologist. I got diagnosed. It was like all of these things, but nobody could tell me what the trigger was. And what it really was the fact that I was carrying all this trauma and this craziness inside of me that I was refusing to deal with. And it was coming up, these symptoms. Cancer was a symptom. These diseases are symptoms of an internal imbalance within us. And if we don't deal with those core issues, those root core issues, there is no pill, there is no plant, there is no therapy out there that's going to fix the imbalance within our lives. And you can hear it again and again and again in each one of these stories that we're going down. And it's beautiful that we found a moment in our lives where we connected with the earth, we connected with ourselves, and we decided that enough was enough. And we found a journey. Each one of us found a journey to our own healing in our own way. And it's beautiful. And now we want to change the world. We want to say, hey, this is what worked for me. Now let me guide you along the way to help you as well. And it's just amazing. That's my story, as well as everyone else's that's on here.
Yes, thank you so much, Mama. So many other things about your story that we're not even really hitting on. It's just that whole the other things that you go through, and I just want to point that out to people because you see your smile. You were on the show on Friday, and you just want to share a quick snippet about some of the things you're dealing with right now.
I have a lot of health issues, but growing up, I dealt with a lot of trauma, from sexual abuse to my parents were separated. I was a ward of the state during my teenagers, in and out of foster care. I dealt with a lot of physical, emotional abuse, and I carried that into my adulthood in the relationships that I had around me, because what we don't realize is we continue a pattern in our lives because that's what's comfortable. That's
Yeah.
what we're comfortable with. And then we wonder why we continue to have these traumas and these things and these patterns in our lives. And until we deal with all of that, and, even continuing now, it's created such an imbalance in my life. I'm in my 40s now, but I have a lot of health issues. Not, I'm maybe a cancer survivor, but I also have an autoimmune. I have Hashimoto's. I have a 6 millimeter pituitary adenoma. I'm deaf in one ear from autosclerosis. I'm going to eventually be completely deaf. I had a surgery that didn't work. I deal with PTSD, anxiety from the traumas in my life. But you see this, smile on my face, and, a lot of us on here, and it's about invisible illness. You never know what's really going on the inside with someone else. And, our healing, our journey really just starts with getting real, those meditations, health, wellness, mind, body, spirit, and getting connected. And it's a journey. It's such a journey, and it's a lifelong journey. There is no pill to fix it. There is no coaching program to fix all of your problems. It's a lifelong journey that you have to continuously live. It's a lifestyle.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
That's why we should never quit, right? Because we have the opportunity to change from inside out. And all these diseases, these things that cause us stress and anxiety, whether it's the mind, whether it's physical, spiritual, they all begin on the inside out, and they're stored at the cellular level. And the cells are what keep the body in its motor phase. It keeps us running, keeps us going. So if we don't get the proper nutrients and everything the cells need, then how can the organs function properly? And as you said, same here, and probably for most of us here, the traumas that are stored in our cells from an early age or whenever they started carry with us until we can change the patterns of how we deal with them and how they affect our life. And once we do that, then the body starts to change. You're amazing, just like everybody. Thank you, Mama Mo. Okay, so we'll move on to Amy. Amy.
Hello.
So, good to see you again. And look at you, radiantly glowing. What is it with you women today? You're just smiling radiantly. So beautiful. It's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Amy, take us back very briefly. Just tell us what happened to bring you to your turnaround and how that turnaround
I'm sorry, man. We'll jump in real quick. So at this point, we just want to know what happened.
What happened?
We're going to get into the decisions that these people made, like that you all made. I want to know. We're going to get into that in the future segment here. What was that decision? There was a decision that was made. So I'm going to prime you here for that. But Amy, we do want to know, like, where was that early memory of when that you got that news or something happened?
So with me, I've actually been on the health and wellness journey. It started with my son. And so I knew how to take care of myself. Like, I knew the vitamins, I knew the supplements, I knew all those things, but I did not take care of myself emotionally. And so I had a therapist tell me I was dealing with codependency. She gave me the book she had written on it, and I just laughed and put it in the drawer and put it away. And I was like, that's not me. But I spent my life trying to fix everybody. And it wore me out. I liken it to being like a hamster on a wheel. I kept going and going. And it was all like, fix my husband, fix my kids, fix our business, work is all I knew. And my faith in God is strong. So I thought it was like, oh, I have peace. I have this joy. I have this all inside of me. But I didn't, because I didn't allow myself to feel what I was feeling. And so 4 years ago, I found myself like my body completely broke down. I also suffered with an autoimmune. I had severe allergies. But I literally couldn't move for 6 weeks. And I looked at my life and said, what is going on? Why did I get to this place? I know how to juice. I know how to do all these things physically. I thought I was taking care of myself, but I wasn't taking care of myself emotionally. And I didn't allow myself to not be okay. Not because I was trying to fix everyone else. I couldn't look inside and see what was wrong with me. And so that's why my passion is to tell the world, if you don't deal with your feelings, if you don't deal with the past, those feelings, the biggest lie in the world is that time heals all wounds. Because time actually makes all wounds worse for the ones that you haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
And so I had to so that my flashpoint was to say, what needs to change in my life? Because I'm used to being an active person and I can't even walk, and the pain was so severe. And so I looked inside and said, I need to figure out like what is going on. And so I didn't mention, I actually do essential oils as a big part of how I coach and help women, especially. But I had to look and allow myself to feel my feelings and be okay with not being okay, and go from there.
That's a huge thing. It continues to come up, being okay with not being okay.
Yeah. We said that, well, we've said it with everyone yesterday with Monique, right? It is okay to be okay. It is okay to cry. It's when we don't allow those feelings to come out, that's when they get reinverted back within and cause all the problems. So around mental health, we've got to be more open and more allowed people to express themselves and not feel shamed. And I honor you for being that way, for recognizing it in yourself and allowing it to come out so that you could help others.
I wouldn't have even told you I had anxiety. I would have just been like, I did not allow myself to go there. So it's being able to be real with yourself and allow how you're feeling is the only way that you can actually process it and let go and release it.
Yeah. Keeping your own integrity. Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. I got to share this with you because this is a personal thing. I'm going to deviate for a moment.
Sure.
But I had a dream this morning, and it was my dad was in the dream, and he had my dad passed in 2018. But the dream was powerful because in the dream, my dad was like crying, and he was having like almost like a release. And what came to me was he lived with a lot of stuff trapped inside, and in the dream, he was releasing. And I think a lot of times we try to be something for someone else or for society, and we're not allowing ourselves to feel. We're trapping the emotions. Like Dr. Grant Joe said, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you.
Amen.
We don't know it's eating us because we're meeting this expectation. We're making the money. We're going after the career. We're doing all the stuff. We're taking care of everyone, making everyone happy. Meanwhile, we're not realizing what we're doing internally. And I think that's where the body says there's a point where it says enough, enough is enough. And then it's the breakdown moment, which we're going through now. And you're all so amazing and courageous to share this. And I know people, we're talking about it and you've shared your story before, but it takes courage to look back on yourself with grace and be able to share these stories today as we're going through them. So I just felt led to share that because I felt, someone needs to hear that. And Amy, thank you for evoking, really.
Yeah. For sharing that too, because it's so precious and priceless be able to go back, and it's not just courageous that you can share your story, but it goes beyond that, because once you've had that courage to share your story and you begin to see the impact it's making on other people, or the option for it to make an impact on other people, then you realize what your journey was all about. You know you have a purpose. And I've got goosebumps, because that purpose then infuses you to keep going and to keep sharing, to keep growing, and to keep turning your pain into your passion and your fear into success. And this is what inspires the human spirit. And I'm just so grateful to each of you. So thank you, Amy. Thank you so much.
So much.
Back
Yeah.
to the other
Well-
Dr. Grant.
Well, what we're going to do, let me jump in for 1 second, Mandy, because I'm watching the clock.
Yeah,
What I want to do
absolutely.
is I do want to hit Mr. Jim Grant, and I do want to hit Professor Dr. George. I want to get everybody ready for this next round. I want to know what that decision is. So we've already heard part of Dr. Grant's story. We've heard part of Jim's story. So before we transition into the decisions that were made, that the earliest decision you can remember, like Jim shared, Jim, I love this when you said a calm came over me. That's a great segue to transition into this next segment. So what I want to do is, Jim, just briefly, just a brief, anything you want to share to that initial time when you were going through that pain point. And then from there, we're going to transition into the decisions that were made.
Well, at that time, I didn't even think about it, which was a plus, because it didn't require any intelligence. I just simply made a proclamation of how I felt at that moment. And ironically, this led me into another calling, which I can share a little bit later if you like, not only for myself, but for others, because I know what it's like to feel like a block of cheese, and the way life sometimes can gnaw on you like a rat. And that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Wow. But just to hit, for those that are just joining, Jim had a condition called the widowmaker. He didn't know it. All his signs were normal. He found himself in a hospital, and, going through this pain, this calm came over you, and you just, and I love the fact that you just embraced what was. I mean, this is so powerful right here. This is all we're talking about. You embraced it in that moment. And maybe it was your journey. Maybe it was all the goodwill you've poured out there, all the positive message you've given, but you were able to embrace this. And I think faith, you talked about your faith, a huge part of this. So let's transition now. So what was an early decision that you made that after this calm came over you? Was there any other decision, or was it just simply a letting go?
It was just simply accepting the fact that I was in the condition I was in, what I was told, and I just simply, accepted it as a fact. And my attitude was, I've always been a guy that just says, "Hey, bring it on. Let's face it. I'm a warrior at heart. I don't make a good coward. I guess I'm too dumb or something, but I don't run from things. I just don't."
Yeah, and you're a testament. I really. And anyway, I'm excited to continue this, and maybe we could let the cat out of the bag about some collaboration here before we get to the end. But we'll let you marinate on that. We can maybe make a soft announcement or something like that. So so beautiful. Was there any other decisions that happened in the process that you felt like you got your power back?
Well, the one thing that really led me to the next level, having the heart attack is one thing, open heart surgery and all that. That's personal. I was laying on the couch there and I'm thinking, why me, Lord? What did I do to deserve this? And then my answer came unexpectedly through my neighbor. I went over to take some goodies for him during Christmas, and he says, "Hey, Jim, did you realize that almost 75% of the people who wind up in an ER with heart conditions like you have no previous blood pressure or cholesterol level problems?" Going like, really? And I found that out. So therefore, my mission in life, ladies and gentlemen, is to take this to the next level, because I don't want you to go through what I went through. I know what it's like. It is no fun. But thank the good Lord, everything went well. And my mission is to take that message to you and to everyone else.
You see how your pain becomes your passion? This is so beautiful, Jim. Think about that statistic. 75% of the people that end up in there had no indication that they should have been there. We will have you back on the show to talk literally about that, because that we're going to have you on the show, and we want to dive into that, and we'll schedule that out. So everyone look for that interview. That's going to be amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to get Mandy back on with us. Oh, there she is. Okay, Mandy, I'm going to just want to turn over to you for a moment here as we move forward and we transition.
Sure. We've got to hear one more point from Dr. George Grant.
Yes, thank you.
That happened. Give us some extra on what happened. You'd already spoken about. You're very welcome, my friend. Very welcome. Can you fill us in a little bit more?
Sure. I just want to comment about Jim's situations. When I scanned him before Christmas, before Halloween, when he had this episode, what I actually told him when I did the scan, that he had a little bit of clogging in the left ventricle. And I told him to stop any dairy, any fried food, any fast food, any of the bread, the rice, and the sugar, and the cookies, and all the stuff. He did not take me seriously. He said, all my vitals are okay. My blood pressure is okay. All of my blood sugar is okay. HEB, A1C is okay. What are you talking about? I said, listen, Jim, do what I'm telling you to do, because when you have 50% blocking of your left ventricle, you don't get any symptoms, by the way. So anyway, I wanted to make an advice for everybody to do this regular scans with your physician and with me, to do exactly what's happening inside your arteries, because that's what I have the passion to do. This is very important to do. Okay. So that's when,
Dr. Grant, I'd like to follow you up on that, because I can speak to that personally as well. When I've had pulmonary embolisms, right?
Yes.
And they were not caught until I was close to death. And had I not persevered with walking into a hospital and saying, I'm not leaving till somebody tells me what's going on, and a doctor throwing the file in the air and all the papers go on the floor, and a student comes in, did they do a urine sample? No, they didn't. She takes one, and the next thing I'm being hooked up to wires and rushed off to ICU, and I'm almost dead.
Yes.
So your scanner can detect what doctors cannot detect. And I've got goosebumps saying that, because I know that you've scanned me, and I'm not going to get into my stuff here, but you have shown me things that could not have been known by you. That scanner is get in touch with Grant and get yourself scanned, because he can save your life, just as he did with I go to call him the other Dr. Grant, Jim Grant.
Yeah, we're brothers by different mothers.
Yes. Both granted the same option.
He got the intelligence, and I got the personality, and he got the good looks too.
Mandy, everything is preventable and reversible. As Mama Momo said, everything can be reversed. And by the way, you notice that Mama Mo has a picture behind her that makes it like a crown? I have a brand new thing for you. The picture actually make a crown around you. So your new branding name now, Mama Mo, is Queen Mama Mo, because that picture around you is like make you like a queen.
Queen Mama.
Queen Mama Mo.
Ring the bells on that. We got the January jingle bell.
But you know, Mandy, as Mama Mo said, as Amy said, every disease in the dictionary is reversible and preventable. I believe this from the bottom of my heart. But you've got to watch what you eat, what you do not eat, as Joe was saying, and what is eating you for stress, because stress can cause 80% of all diseases, regardless, whether it's cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes, PTSD, as Mama Mo was saying. All of this stuff can be reversed, okay? But you have to focus on PMS. Nothing to do with women. PMS stands for physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. If you are balanced physically, mentally, and spiritually, God bless you. You're going to be living till age 111 and beyond, because that's really the key here. Get a balance, because balance is wellness. Imbalance is illness. No drug that I know of, and I taught pharmacology for many, many years, and I also taught toxicology, can fix anybody's problem only for short term. So my mission in life is to get somebody like Jim Grant to recover from this open heart surgery fully now, to get this guy recovered from 28 meds and 2 bypass and 2 stents, recovered fully at 79 years young. And he's now 101, healthy, no meds, no bypass, and no stents. Yeah, this is before and this is after.
Yes.
And that's my life. So that's really, we want to help people to have health turnaround from Hashimoto, from Graves, from PTSD, from cancer. Everything is reversible and everything is preventable. We've done 25 books on the topic. We've spoke to 2.3 million people virtually. 23 million, and my picture is right there. You see that?
Yes.
I am the youngest and handsome doctor there. Okay.
You
beautiful.
are, Dr. Grant. You still are.
You know what? And I just want to share this because I want to hit this because we got about 35 minutes left. So we're gonna move into some acceleration, and we're gonna keep time so that we land exactly where we need to land. But I want to talk about the frequency part of medicine. There's more research coming out on frequency and how our bodies are energy. And I did some research, and just not to impress you, but just to kind of paint the picture that our bodies have about 7 octillion atoms in them.
Yes.
And every atom has electrons circling them, right? So the electrons are moving at 1,400 miles per second. And the size, proportionally speaking, an atom is like having the center of an atom is like having a peanut shell in the middle of a baseball stadium. Like that's the radius, the proportion. And these electrons are moving at 1,400 miles per second. Your body is a vibration, and they're learning more about frequency. And Dr. Grant does that in some of the work that he's doing with the mobile scanner. And there's just power in frequency. Returning, like Gregory was outside, returning to the Earth's natural frequency. It's so I just want to point that out and highlight that as we're talking about what we're eating, what we're not eating, what's eating us. There's also the power of frequency and being calibrated and being in rhythm and in tune. Let's see. Someone is trying to get into the studio. Okay, well, we're going to fix this. But anyway, as we segue, Mandy, I'm going to turn it back to you, and let's set this up. We got about 35 minutes.
Okay, so we're going to go into the decision.
Yeah, we need to know what was the decision
they made.
Right.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, so we're going to keep time. So I want you to stick to this. What was the decision that you made that was that turnaround, that spark, right? That turning point. I made this decision. I had the calm come over me. I was never going to live this way again. Whatever that decision was, I want to hear and I want our audience, our listeners to hear that. And then from the last segment, we're just going to share like some final thoughts, how the people can connect with you. And we're going to close this out, and we're going to have an amazing, amazing show. It's already been an amazing show if we ended now.
Oh, we could be here all day. It's so magnificent and powerful. Okay.
And we're going to hear from Daphne again. We're going to hear from Daphne again, by the way, on the book. So that's coming as well.
Okay, so let's spearhead this. Let's fire through it. Just something very briefly. Start with you, Joe. What was the decision that you made at your turning point? What prompted you to say, this is it, I'm doing that? Joe.
When my body, got to a point where that breaking point where I had that overdose, that was the moment of clarity. And what I decided was that I was no longer going to be a victim of my environment. I'm no longer going to be dependent upon the things that I don't want in my life to be the dominion of my life. And I didn't know anything any better being so young. I lacked resources. I lacked maturity. I lacked good foundation spiritually. So what I decided, my favorite movie was Rocky. And what Rocky did is he started training as an underdog. And then I sat in that movie theater as a boy at 9, and I watched that in tears because I felt his hurts and his pain and his moment of doubt. And I'm like, that's who I'm going to be. So instead of drinking alcohol, I ran. Instead of doing drugs, I lifted weights. And I would do these multiple times per day. And I know that sounds like I'm far-fetched, guys. I was in my little basement weight room lifting sand weights 3 times a day, running every moment that I needed alcohol and drugs and to be acknowledged by people. I went out and I just sought something that I knew would make me better and give me a life.
Joe, I love it. I love it. I love it. I got to say this, Mandy, I don't know if you know this, but our next event in March we are planning to have, we're going to take everybody over to the Rocky Steps. We're going to go up those steps and we are going to videographer the whole thing.
I'm
So
coming.
so I just want to throw that out there. We couldn't have planned for this, but so good. So good.
The
I love
miracle
that.
happen when synchronicity, when the energy is vibrating at a high level to make it all happen. That is awesome, Austin. If I didn't know that, that is awesome. Joe, thanks again for sharing that. It's good to get to the pivotal moment, right? Because you hear a lot about, well, I was this, I was that, and I didn't know this or that. But when you gain the clarity and say, I hit rock bottom right here, and this is what made me turn around, my decision to go up.
Mandy, I just want to add that that has become my absolute mission and passion, is to help people crawl out of rock bottom to their very best. I mean, physiologically, mentally, and spiritually.
You're doing it, Joe.
Couldn't have said that better. Crawl out of rock bottom. It's like a phrase I always use. Rock bottom is a firm foundation to start rebuilding by looking up. Yeah. Namaste, friend. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Let's go to Monique. What was your... Hello again.
Yes. I had a lot, but my main point for me was when I was going through, after I went through treatment and was put on a medication called Premarin, which is short for pregnant mare urine, which they take dehydrated horses and concentrate a hormone in their urine. And they give this to women who are on hormone replacement treatment. And so I, ethically being the animal lover and the person I was, after doing the research, was like, there is absolutely no way I'm taking this medication. So where do I go from here? What do I do from here? And so it started this journey on how to heal myself holistically and naturally and find alternative ways and alternative medicine to go against, what I believed wasn't working best for me. And that was my turning point. That's when I fell in love with nature. That's when I fell in love with myself, because during that journey through plant medicine and holistic healing, I realized that it was so much more than just healing the body. It was healing the mind. It was healing my spirit. It was healing the whole constitution of the person that I was. And I started down that journey of healing myself completely, not just from a diagnosis, not just from a medication to, take those symptoms and just push them down so that they're not there. I learned how to heal myself, really. And that's really where it started, was finding out honestly and truly what I was putting into my body.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Isn't this a recurring theme here, that we're talking about taking off the band-aids of the pharmaceutical world? Take off the band-aids and head to the natural world. That's what I'm picking up anyway. That's what I'm picking up. Thank you, Mama Mo, once again, sister. Love you. Jim, let's go to Jim Grant. I didn't use the doctor, but I'm going to now. Dr. Jim Grant.
Oh, my goodness. That's okay. I tell you, it's really amazing, because my main story, my main turning point is what I found out when I was feeling sorry for myself. That's the way life sometimes comes along, slaps you in the face and say, what's wrong with you? I mean, it's perfectly normal and natural to feel, down after you go through, like, why me? I'm in the same boat here. Some guy's been puffing on cigarettes, for 20 years. And, I quit smoking in 1975. I did an about face, walked away from it, quit cold turkey, did the same thing in 1981 when I gave up drinking. And when I say give up drinking, I gave up 12, cans a night and 2 or 3 shots of tequila. So that's heavy drinking. And I just did about face and walked away and said, that's it. So I've been a survivor. But my message to you is this. When I found out that most of the people who wind up in the ER are just like me, no heart problems, no blood pressure problems, no cholesterol problems or anything like that, I could have done one or two things. I could have said, wow, that's interesting. Or I could take that message to the world.
Yes.
So therefore, what do you think would be the best thing for me to do? We know the answer to that. Now, my question to you, ladies and gentlemen, is when you find out your calling in life, your special gift, something that hits you in the face and says, hey, quit feeling sorry for yourself, or wake up and get it in gear and get it going.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for others in
What
their
is it?
hour of need? That's our calling.
Thank
What
you,
is
Jim.
it you do for others in the hour of
Thank
need?
you.
Oh,
And I'd like to say one more thing about Dr. Grant. Such an inspiring guy. And you know
Paid
what he
you.
told me? What he told me, ladies and gentlemen? He says, Jim, I got some great news for you. In addition to all these extra years I got now, and wonderful health. He says, the good news for you, Jim, it doesn't take much intelligence. Oh, okay. That is great news.
Very good. Very good.
If I was serious, Dr. George Grant would want to do another scan on me real quickly from the head. Right in here.
I know Dr. Grant, he's already scanned everyone here. No. Listen, we're gonna move. We got 25 minutes, and we still got to bring Daphne back on. So I am going to jump in. What was your decision? Let's go to Gregory.
Gregory.
He's back inside now.
Yeah, my decision was wasting time for so long, right? You've been doing something for so long and it isn't working for you. I had to search for something that would work for me. And, when you are blindsided by what you believe is something that is going to heal you, but year after year after year after year, it actually makes you worse than where you started from. That was my catalyst to basically start learning about old modalities that they've been using for hundreds and thousands of years and incorporate them with new stuff that we're using to basically figure out everything. I don't want to diagnose or treat anybody on this call, but I just want to say that we need to look at what other people are saying. We can't just be saying, because government says it's not true, that it's not true. Guess what? They made it to space. They're going to Mars, right? They're doing things that they're not telling you. So let's open up our eyes and open up our bodies and actually evolve. When a bird wakes up in the morning, it does what a bird does. It chirps. It does everything that a bird does to the best of its ability. Now it's time for us as humans to do the same thing. Let's actually evolve instead of depressing ourselves and staying put.
Beautiful.
Amen to that. Absolutely. Amen to that. Wow.
So let's
Thank you.
let's
Thank
keep
you
moving.
so much, Greg. We'll move on to Amy then. Amy, so what was your decision? What was the point where you made the decision that something had to change?
That I actually mattered. And that
Oh.
might sound crazy, but everything I was doing was for everybody else. And so I had to get to the point where I was worthy, that I get to be here, and that my life matters, and that I was worthy of taking care of me, and how I felt was, like I said, is okay to be okay. And so that is my mission. Is I started my journey because I still cared about my kids more than myself.
Yes.
And I lived for their dreams, to help them find their dreams, help my husband, but I didn't let myself dream for myself, and I didn't know how to value and love myself. And once I started choosing me, the miracles have been happening. I just turned 50, and I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. The relationships I'm getting shook up because the relationships in my life are better than they've ever been. The relationship with my daughter, she's on this mission with me to help people, because she used to have severe panic attacks. And so there's so much more I can say, because I just want to help so many people. But my mission is to tell you that you matter, how you feel matters, your feelings matter, and that you are worthy to be on this earth, and that there's a mission and a purpose, and there's greatness inside of each one of you. And I love you all, and I'm honored to be here.
And happy birthday. Your birthday was a couple days ago. So it's gonna
Happy
be
birthday, Amy.
Happy birthday, Amy.
Thank you.
50
bye
looking.
though.
Thank you.
Dr. Grant, any final thoughts on this?
You know what, Mandy? With love, gratitude, and kindness, you can solve all of the world problems. because I
Yeah.
always say our motto is we care, we serve, we educate. We do not medicate, we do not operate, we do not irradiate, we do not vaccinate, and we do not irritate. So basically, if we follow this, you can help the whole world, without having to do any of this basic stuff. Thank
The
you.
whole world becomes an oyster.
Beautiful.
Yes, exactly.
This is working out perfectly. So fantastic. So I'm gonna bring Daphne on if we can. I'm gonna squeeze her into the room here. I think we can fit. We got enough squares. It's like Hollywood Squares, right, Jim? You remember Hollywood Squares?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But more important than that, for sure. So I'm going to bring Daphne on. I want to share. We're bringing this project to a close. The book should be out, and I'll let Daphne speak on that. Where we're going to target, and we're going to come back here again. We're going to do another summit to launch the book, probably a shorter form. And the whole idea is that when that book is available, we're going to come and do this again to really promote this. We'll have some time in between. We can tie up any loose ends. Maybe maybe there's a few of you on here that you need to connect now, because there's some things that I say provoked you, evoked you, stoked you, whatever you want to connect. So Daphne, are you ready to come on? Okay. Daphne, welcome back. You helped us launch this. We're in our final sequence here in the next 20 minutes. I know you've been watching. What are you thinking, feeling? And also we want to get an update on the project.
Yeah, congratulations, everyone. As I thought about this morning and talked to Austin, Mandy, and Dr. Grant, I of course have been blessed to read your stories, which you were able to go more in depth with what it is that you've endured, and more importantly, the steps you've taken to find health and wellness in your own lives, which was not an easy route. It wasn't a traditional route. And I seldom find people coming from a place of disease, discomfort, disorder, into a realm of health where they just did the one thing, right? They just took the magic pill or had the magic procedure, and then that was it. They were, smooth sailing ever since. But you all did a lot of deep dives into your own minds, into your own experiences, into the people and places and things that surround you to determine what is health for you and what is best for you. And you took this holistic approach that changed your lives forever. And this is the story that we're encapsulating in these chapters and giving to people. This book is a gift. So to answer Austin's question, and he knows, we are in the final stages of book development. So you all will be receiving your chapters. We'll go through the final edits. I'm still waiting on a couple of chapters, but they're coming soon. So this is all coming into its next phase, which is the editing, proofreading, and then the publishing. So we're looking at maybe a week's time when this will be live on Amazon, but we're not going to push sales until we do everything with Austin to make sure that we get the greatest impact from the sale. We don't want to start pushing sales too soon. So anyone have any questions or comments so far?
No, I think there's a great update for our listeners that are listening in on this. This is the book is going to be out soon, so hang in there. We're going to we'll launch another summit like this, and we'll get everybody's date. I'm thinking like a couple weeks. We'll nail a day if that works for everyone here. I don't know if it does, but we'll couple weeks is 2 weeks.
And can I just add in there? I've worked with a lot of people over my life, including not to be in a professional mode, but other writers and different people. Working with Daphne is one of the best editing, publishing, everything that she does, professionally, personally, intellectually, everything she puts into it, her heart and soul. This person is the epitome of the most magnificent publisher I've ever had the pleasure and honor of working with, and I'm very grateful.
Absolutely. And And this wouldn't happen without Daphne.
No, it wouldn't.
But I'm
No,
going to use Jim Pine. I'm not that smart.
Well,
But I
most importantly, it wouldn't happen without all of your stories and the
Yes.
vulnerability that you all have put forth is extraordinary.
It is.
Without your honesty and without you being so brave to come forward with what you've been through and then sharing how you've overcome with others so they can benefit from it. That's what this is all about.
Yes, ma'am.
Amen to that.
Mhm.
Great job, Daphne. We're glad to have you. And I know we got Dr. Phil. I'm going to see if I can get his audio in here before we. Okay, let me see if we can get his audio. Dr. Phil, I'm going to add you. And I know you've been trying to get in with the connection, but I want to make sure we honor Dr. Phil if we can. So I'm going to ask everybody to hang in there. Here we go. Dr. Phil, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're in our closing sequence. I want to just turn it over to you, just to give you a chance to reflect and maybe share some final thoughts.
Yeah, well, I've been able to hear and see everyone just fine. I don't have video right now, but the audio is great, so no worries. Thank you for your endurance there. Yeah, it's just great to hear the synergy. I know that the scriptures say one can put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000 to flight. So I can only imagine what we're capable of if we'll just stick together and tell this message. But as I look at the amazing ability of the body to be well, doctors, no matter where they go to school, I can't imagine how they miss this one foundational truth, and that is that the brain has one primary function, and that is survival. That's what it does every day, all the time, and it's going to keep doing that until you take your last breath. I wonder sometimes when people are dealing with patients who go into a coma, if they ever wonder just possibly if the body had something to do with that coma, if it's not making that decision in order to sustain life rather than to destroy it. I wonder if they consider sometimes if even cancer is the body's way of trying to maintain its own health. It's so backwards the way we manipulate and push the body around so that we can worship a drug or even worship a doctor. We need to be humble and remember that the real meaning of the word doctor is teacher.
Yeah.
It means
Yes.
to be a teacher. And so I often I remember one of the lessons I learned is that the body actually cleanses in periods of 3 and 7, and you can actually set your clock by this. It's so amazing. If the body has a fever, if you don't mess with it with a drug, it will run its fever in periods of 3 and 7, and it will do this every time until it's finished with whatever its process is. And both of those numbers are God's numbers, 3 and 7. They're the number of completion. So we just should stand in awe of what we have here and stop trying to take the trophy away from this amazing design. And so I know that we have so much confusion. The averages in our American medical culture should speak to us loudly, but pride silences the voice of truth. Pride goes before a fall, and we get prideful.
Yes.
The truth is, we are the sickest nation in the entire world here in the USA. We have one doctor for every 8 patients. That's the best doctor-patient ratio in the entire world, and yet we're not even in the top 40% for health. Why in the world, if I were going to a financial advisor that had those kind of averages, and he was going to help me get out of debt, I'd have to be crazy. I'd have to be out of my mind. And yet our bodies are in debt. They're bankrupt. Why are we listening to people who know nothing about how to increase wealth in the body? And so people like Dr. Grant and the rest of you, these are people who know how to make deposits in the body so that we're not running on bankruptcy all the time. And so the way most people eat, they're bankrupting their bodies. They're continually bankrupting their body. And I tell my patients, medications work like credit cards. They just put the body on loan. You can't keep paying a debt with a credit card. You've got to stop doing that. And so as soon as they get the metaphor, they go, wow, I think I got the picture. I mean, do you mean I don't have aspirin deficiency? No, you don't. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as aspirin deficiency or Tylenol deficiency. But you do have lots and lots of vitamin and mineral deficiencies, especially if you eat Pop-Tarts and you drink soda. There's no way for you to have a bank that is full of cash. And so, it's so simple for us to see what's wrong, but the love of money continues to drive this train.
Oh, yeah.
It's so sad because no one takes any money with them. Warren Buffett won't take a dime with him when he goes. But what we do take with us are the lives we help. I believe
Yes.
that storing up treasure in heaven is where we should all be focused. And so it's sad to me that we continue to worship idols that are just dead, and they're not going to guide us into life. Children die every day. People lose their fathers. You know, I lost my father at the age of 42 to a heart attack that I know today was totally preventable. And I've never had the privilege of picking up the phone and calling my father and asking him, hey, what are you doing today? I barely remember him. And it was mainly because this information did not get to his ears. So we've got to be very vivacious and serious, and we cannot sleep. We have to tell the story. And we need it more now than ever, more than ever before.
Dr. Phil, that was the perfect way to put a great end cap on everything that happened today. I couldn't have said it better myself. Everybody's in awe of what you just shared, and you just hit it. You just rung the bell. You just spoke it. You spoke the truth that we all need to hear and that every listener needs to hear. So we have about 9 minutes left. We're going to do a round robin, and I just want to hear quickly just your final thought as we bring this to a close. Final thought. I'm going to go back the same way I came. I'm going to go quickly and again, we're talking like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, like quick. I'm talking quick. All right. So Daphne, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to go back the other way.
Sure. So everybody has a unique opportunity to learn from people who have been there, done that, and came out on the other side. I don't think there's a human being who wouldn't benefit from hearing these stories and reading these stories and using these stories as a blueprint to help your own health. You just can't get better than this.
Outstanding. Gregory.
Yeah, if you want to catch me at flow.page/QBL. And basically, knowing is half the battle. Call me and I'll let you know.
Absolutely. And I'm going to ask everybody to, when we're done, go in and put your contact info in there. So say that one more time. Flow, what is it?
Flow.page/QBL, quantumbalancelimited.com. That's where you can reach me.
Perfect. Okay. Let's go to Amy.
You matter. Your story matters, and you matter, and how you feel. In order for you to heal, you must feel, and it can be hard. But the more you embrace how you feel, and turn your thoughts inward and look inward, and actually just be curious and non-judgmental and love yourself, you will be able to move through it and get to a place of wholeness. And you can find me. You're talking about vibration. Oils raise your level of vibration. And so oilsandlifewithamy.com. Love to connect.
Oilsandlifewithamy.com. Got it. Okay. Mr. Jim Grant.
The thing I'd like to leave as the last, thought is love yourself first, then you can love others.
Yes.
And
Yes.
please stop, because you got to remember your mind can only bring up the past. Please stop looking through the rear view mirror of life when you're trying to move forward. Look through the windshield of life for the love and the abundance that you're so richly entitled to. If you'd like to email me, it's inspiration@e360tv.com.
Inspiration@e360tv.com. Mama Mo, you're on mute. Unmute. Yep. Perfect.
How am I supposed to follow that?
Now I know you had something.
No, I do. My tagline is RAW, RAAW, and it's about rebuilding an authentic world. And I believe that each and every one of us sitting here together on this panel that's in this book, I believe that together we're going to rebuild an authentic world. We're going to get back to being authentic to ourselves, authentic to nature, authentic to each and every person around us, to share our stories and our journey to uplift and love all of those around us. And so I just leave you guys with that. If you want to look for me on Instagram or on Facebook, just plug in Mama Mo, all one word, MAMAMO, and you will see my face shining on there. And my email is mamamo.raw, RAAW, @gmail.com.
Soon to be Queen Mama Mo, Dr. Grant.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep moving. Mr. Joe T-Well.
I got 5 points really quickly. These are words of encouragement to anybody listening. You live in these daily mindsets. You are enough. You can. Your body is strong. You are worth it. And live in a life that what you value is along with how you live and what you do. What you value is how you live and what you do.
Beautiful. That nailed it. Okay, real quickly, Dr. Phil, one more quick thought.
Well, I just want to say that make sure that every time that you come across somebody, don't think that it is just by chance. And I don't mean to over spiritualize this, but when you're full of truth, there is no one that you come across by chance. No one. Just the fact that you're full of the truth, anyone you're in front of, you have an opportunity to share something with them. You don't know how powerful a word can be. The Bible says that life and death are in the power of the tongue. And sometimes just saying to somebody, hey, you look kind of down today. Is there something I could do to help you? That might stop a suicide. We're in a world today where suicide is off the charts. We have to remember that when we have truth, we're a shining light just because of that alone. And so don't take for granted anybody you come across. Shed the light, share the light, and make sure you never underestimate the importance of a kind word.
Yes.
Beautiful. Connection point. How can people connect with you?
Best way is lifefixnow@gmail.com. That's life, L-I-F-E, the word fix, F-I-X, and the word now as in immediate, lifefixnow@gmail.com.
Beautiful. Dr. Grant, quick thought. You shared so much already. Just quick thought, and I'm going to move back to Mandy.
They always say, teach me, I forget. Show me, I remember. Involve me, I understand. But inspire me, I learn for life. So you all today inspired me. And I'm telling you, just learn, live, laugh, let go, and leave a legacy to 111.
Mandy, beautiful, Dr. Grant. Mandy, we have a minute, and then what we're going to do to send everybody off, I'm going to leave everybody on here, and we are just going to, when we say goodbye, I want you just to pour out as much energy as you can. We're going to get to that. But Mandy, you got like a minute.
I'll go for it. Thank you for the floor. Just going back to what Dr. Phil said about the reference to doctor meaning teacher, they're also sworn in with a Hippocratic oath to do no harm to anybody. And unfortunately, that often happens, which is why we have to get back to holistic. So not enough time to go through everything, but I'm just going to sum up what I took from all of this from each and every one of you. Unique, special, incredibly beautiful, awesome human beings. You are loving, you are grateful, you are kind. You trust in the whole mind, body, spirit healing. You reached the point where you said enough was enough and it was time to turn your pain into passion. So you dedicate your life into the service of others. And that's what we are primarily put for here on this earth as human beings, to be of service to others. And I don't care what nationality or what circumstance you come from, reach out and give your hand to somebody in need, because there are plenty of them out there that need our shining lights. Austin.
Thank you so much, every one of you. My life is more enriched and empowered because of you, and I'm so grateful. And I'm eager to get back here in a couple weeks to launch this book. We're going to get it out to the world. It's going to be amazing. So God bless you. Here's what we're going to do. I got some music, but I got some music playing here in the background. They just added this cool feature. So we're going to put our hands up. We're just going to Tell everyone, you can send them love, whatever you want to do, your matter, your love. Thank the music up here. Here we go. Music, play. All right, everyone. So have a fantastic day. We love you.
Day, we love you.
Snap.
Thank you for being
Your best
here.
interest.
Awesome. Reach out. Reach out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.